Hello, Troon. I'm Trish, and today I'd like to offer you a 30-minute stretch series. The first part of this stretch series I will structure so that you can do this if you want to as your morning stretch. You can do it in bed, or of course you can do it any time of the day on the floor. Let's start by lying on our backs. And of course, if you're doing this in bed, you will want to take the pillow away from the back of your head. Just toss it on the floor. Then lie back straight. Press your heels forward, really press out through the bottoms of your feet. Draw your center downward, lift the top of your head back, and reach way back with your fingers. We're breathing right into the mid and low back with this one. In other words, we're filling the diaphragm and emptying it. And breathe in as much air as you can and blow it all out. As you breathe in, you really want to press downward with that lumbar. Exhale, blow it out. Let's do one more. And now we're going to hug both knees in towards our chest and shoulders. And if you want to, you can gently rock or make circles. Or you can go gently side to side. You do what your body wants. Your body will tell you what it wants. And I'm breathing in through my nose and out over an open throat, very fully. Just waking up the body. And then with an inhale, I'm going to go back to my long body stretch. Pulling the center down, reaching way back with my fingertips, pressing forwards with the bottoms of my feet. And then I'll bring my right knee in towards my right shoulder, and I'm going to give it a nice hug here. You can either put your hand on your hamstring or very gently on your shin. I prefer the hamstring because I don't like to put pressure into the knee. And if you want to use a stretch aid, a hand towel or a pillowcase works very nicely. You can just pull that knee in like this. So you do whatever suits you best. From here, if you'd like to, you can open into a scissor stretch, again, using either your hands or a towel or pillowcase. Make sure that your big toe points straight down. Some of you may find that your toe wants to angle outward or inward. We really want to maintain a straight line from the big toe through the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Align them to your shoulder. And as I do this, I'm breathing into my back. And now I'm going to allow that right leg to bend. I'm going to do my best to keep the sole of my foot parallel to the ceiling, and I'll shift my knee outward just a little bit so that it aligns to the outside of the shoulder. And then I can apply gentle pressure here, or give a little tug here, or use my foot. I can even use my towel right in the arch of the foot. And again, I'm breathing deeply into the lower half of my back. And I know some of us find that when we first awaken in the morning, we have a little pain, maybe through here or into the bottom of the foot. So let's stretch that out. You can pull your foot way back and then point it forward. Just repeat that a few times. And then make a hard flex. And if you want to, you can apply a little bit of pressure. Again, right here. And work with it as you want to. If you want to straighten your leg here, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. And then now I'm going to align my heel directly over my hip. And I'm going to lower that straight out to the side. Now, I'm either going to catch that leg with my hand, maybe under the knee or just above or below the knee, or I can loop my towel or my pillowcase or whatever you're using around the bottom of the foot and then sort of lasso it as it comes out to the side. Either way, the main idea is that we don't want that leg out there just unsupported in space. And as I stretch this foot outward and push outward through my heel, I'm grounding into my sit bone, my low back, really trying to keep my bum flat to either the floor or the bed. And then I'll bring that foot straight up over the hip again. Take a great big breath. And now if I don't have a hip replacement, I have the option of bringing it across to the opposite side of the body. Again, I can use my towel, or I can just catch that leg with my hand. And with this stretch, I'm doing my best to keep my shoulder in the mat. I'm pushing outward through my left heel. Breathing smoothly and deeply. The breath when you're stretching is very yogic. It's very purposeful. Really focus on oxygenation. So we're making those breaths as deep as possible. And then we'll exhale, bringing that foot back up over the hip. I'm going to hug it in toward my shoulder one more time before I bring that leg back to either the floor or the bed. Push out through the heel as I draw now my left knee in toward my left shoulder. And after a few breaths, of course, I can open it into a scissor stretch if I want to. I have always the option here of using some type of stretch aid. And again, I'm still actively pushing my right foot forward. So I'm creating opposition. And then I'll bend that knee again and bring the knee just to the outside of the shoulder and take a half happy baby right here. Breathing deeply. You want to hold every stretch for at least 5 big smooth breaths. And then I'll realign the knee to the shoulder and take a few point flexes with that foot. Don't feel limited to the point and flex. You can circle it inward, circle it outward, whatever your body craves. And then, of course, if you have tightness anywhere between the calf and the toes, you can flex that foot, give a little tug again, bent or straight, it's up to you. And then I'll align my heel over my hip. And I'm going to drop that left heel out to the left side of my body, still pushing outward through my right foot. So now I've got stretch going in 2 directions here. And again, I catch my leg so that I never have an unsupported joint floating in space. And with an exhale, I'm going to bring that back up over the hip. And then I have the option, if I don't have a hip replacement, of bringing that foot to the opposite side of the body, keeping now my left shoulder down. And of course, catching this leg so it's not unsupported. I'm really trying to pull my center downward toward either the floor or the bed, whatever you're lying on. Maybe one more big smooth breath right here. And then I'm going to bring that heel back over the hip, hug the knee in toward the chest and shoulder one more time, and then press both feet forward, pull both arms back, let the top of my head extend back as my spine, my tailbone extend forward. I'm pulling my center down and breathing deeply. Again, I'm pulling that breath into the lower half of the back, in through the nose and out over an open throat. And now I'm going to bring my arms down alongside my body, turn my thumbs up, take a great big breath. Exhale, lift my head, try to lift my shoulder blades, look straight forward towards my toes. And I'm still pulling my center down, reaching forward. You're going to feel your shoulder blades come apart and forward. And then I'm going to lie down flat again, bend my knees comfortably, and bring my feet all the way together. Keeping my center low, I'll open my knees, just let them drop out to the sides. The soles of my feet are together. And again, I'm breathing deeply. It's nice to put on some soft music while you're stretching. Something that's going to help you relax and really deepen your breath. With every exhale, you want to think about sort of melting into your stretch. Let's bring those knees together. And now, keeping my left shoulder down, keeping my center low, I'm going to drop both knees toward the right. I say keeping my center low, that means I'm drawing my belly toward the bed or the mat. Remember, I said about 5 breaths or more in each position. You know, some of these positions, if you really feel like you're getting a satisfying stretch, don't hesitate to press pause and hold them for as long as you like. A lot of these stretches you can hold for 90 seconds or even 2 minutes, and they'll be just fine for you. And I'm going to exhale to bring my knees back to center. Make sure I'm still actively drawing my center downward. Take a big breath. Exhale and lower my knees the opposite direction. One more big breath here. And then with an exhale, I'll bring my knees back to center. Now, I know a lot of you really find that stretch very satisfying. If you don't have a hip replacement and you'd like to go a little bit deeper with it, then you can certainly cross one leg over the other and drop again. And we'll exhale, bringing the knees back to center so that we can cross the opposite direction. Take a big breath. Exhale and lower the knees to the left. Just a couple more breaths here. We'll exhale to bring the knees back to center. And then if you'd like to, you can plant the right foot in your bed. Take the left foot just a few inches above the knee. Never let it rest on the knee. Always bring it a few inches higher than the knee. Flex that foot real hard. In other words, you're pulling the big toe back toward the shin. Push outward very gently, a few inches above the knee. Make sure that you're still drawing your center downward. And then if you'd like to, very slowly, you can lower that right knee again. Hold and breathe. Keep that foot flexed. That's keeping your knee safe. If you flex the foot, the patella cannot shift. And we'll exhale to bring the knee back up and switch so that we can try that for the opposite side. Remember to put your heel a few inches above the knee, flex the foot. Take a big breath, gentle pressure, and lower. Exhale to melt into the stretch. And with your next exhale, bring the knees back to center. Place that right foot on the bed or the floor. Hug your knees in toward your chest and shoulders again to counter for that. And now if you'd like to stretch your IT band a little bit more, right along here, then you can, if you don't have a hip replacement. Once again, you can cross right leg over left, and then we'll just hug the knees in toward the chin. And if you want to get a little bit more out of that, you can hold onto your lower legs or ankles, flex your feet, and draw your heels towards your rear end. Hold and breathe right there. You'll feel that from your IT band even into your glute med, right along here. One more big deep breath, and then we'll be ready to switch for the opposite side. And remember to flex your feet before you draw the heels towards your rear end. Now, stretching is so important and so often neglected. And, you know, if you get into a nice routine with your stretching, it's really very enjoyable and your body starts to want it. You'll find that you need to stop and stretch several times a day, but you'll be healthier for it. Let's uncross those legs. And once again, I'm going to press my heels forward, reach way back with my hands, draw my center down. Take a couple of big deep breaths. And then very gently, I'll roll over onto my belly. And again, you can do this on a bed. It is safe. You just don't want to get too crazy with your stretches. You don't want to go too deep. Now, I'm going to layer one set of fingers over the other, and that sort of creates an open diamond shape there in between my thumbs and forefingers. And I'll place that directly under my forehead. My elbows are outward and my shoulders are relaxed. My feet align to my hip and shoulder joints. Now with an inhale, I'm just going to press into the floor of the bed and lift a little bit. The top of my head reaches for the ceiling, and I'm going to gently squeeze my shoulder blades together. And I'll hold and breathe just a few times here. And then I'll exhale and come back down. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper with it, position your palms directly under your shoulders, spread your fingers wide open, and angle your middle fingers straight forward. Squeeze your elbows into your sides. Inhale and press up here. Again, top of the head reaches for the ceiling. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And breathe right into the center of your chest for a better stretch. Let's come on down out of that. And for a moment here, we'll bring our arms down alongside our bodies. And then I'd like for you to rest your left cheek on whatever you're lying on. And let your shoulders be heavy. Remember, with every exhale, we're allowing the body to melt just a little bit. And then to improve your neck range of motion, see if you can bring your ear into the surface beneath you. Now, most of us cannot, but still I want you to stretch in that direction and hold it, breathing deeply. Exhale and look down. And then we'll set that for the opposite side. First of all, bringing the cheek into the mat. And it's going to feel extreme at first. But you'll breathe deeply. Your body will soften and adjust to the stretch. And then when you feel ready, try to bring your ear down lower. With an exhale, we'll look down. And then whatever you've been using as your stretch aid, whether it's a towel, pillowcase, it can be anything, hold it behind you. Align your hands to your shoulders and hips, and then reach upward. You can even lift your chest. Breathing deeply, stretching whatever you're holding, really pull against it. Exhale, come on out of that. And then we'll reach forward with your left arm. And your right hand is going to reach for the inside of your right ankle. Some of you will stop here. I know, it's quite a stretch. But if you can make it there without difficulty, try lifting just a little bit that knee up off of whatever you're lying on. Make sure that you don't let the knee come out to the side. You want to keep it aligned to your hip and shoulder. And then we'll come down out of that. Reach forward with your right hand, and then let your left hand reach for the inside of your left ankle. And if you want to go a little deeper, go ahead and lift. One more big breath. And bring that down. Relax. Then position your hands under your shoulders. And you're going to bend your knees, bring your rear end back over your feet as much as you can. Many of you are going to stop right here. That's fine. If you can go deeper, please do so. One more big breath right here. And then we'll come up onto all fours. Aligning the heels of our hands under our shoulders, aligning our knees under our hips. And from here we can cat-cow a little bit. So we exhale, draw the center up, really rounding out your back. And then you can bring your chin into your chest. Take a few big breaths right here. And then conversely, with an inhale, you'll drop your center, stay strong through your shoulders, focus your gaze straight forward, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Then I'll take a neutral spine. And if I'm on the bed, I'll go ahead and have a seat on the bed and come to a standing position. But if I'm stretching on the floor, maybe I'd like to pass through a downward facing dog, transferring the weight in my knees into the soles of my feet, lowering my heels, lifting my rear end, pushing against the floor, and finally allowing the top of my head to reach for the space between my thumbs. And while you're here, you may like to walk your dog a little bit. That just means you're alternating bending your knees. And then I'll lower my heels one more time. And I'll come out of it by walking my hands back toward my feet. Pausing here in a forward bend. And then I'll exhale to gently walk my hands up my legs and come upright with a big deep breath. Now you had a stretch tool of some sort. Now that I have my stretch tool in hand, I'm going to inhale and reach up high. Maybe even inhale again and reach higher, and just take a few breaths into the lower half of my back again. Breathe as deeply and as purposefully as you can. Then with an inhale, I'm going to tug downward with my right arm, keeping my left elbow right over my ear. And if I want more stretch, I can even look up at that arm. And I'll exhale upright. to take that stretch for the opposite side, inhaling into it, then breathing freely once I'm there. And of course I can look up if I want to. And with an exhale, I'll look forward, come on out of it, and bring my hands down to about shoulder level. At this point, I need to soften my knees. And I'm going to give another tug with that right arm, pulling the left across my body. Breathing deeply. And then I exhale to reach forward, so I can go ahead and take a breath. Exhale to take that stretch for the opposite side. Again, keeping my shoulders far from my chin and my ears. And I'll exhale to reach forward. Inhale to reach up high. And then I'm going to bring my towel or my pillowcase or whatever I'm using down behind my head. And I'm going to give a little tug to the right. And a little tug to the left. I try to do that without letting my head come forward. That's the hard part. And maybe some of us would even benefit, especially golfers will benefit, from bringing that towel up and then over your nose, up and then down. See if you can bring it all the way to your shoulder. And then up and over the nose, up, and see if you can bring it to your shoulder. And now I'm going to take this up high, overhead. I'm going to bend my left arm, turn my palm back, and try to grab that towel. And I'm going to get my hands pretty close together. I'm sort of inching my hands together behind my back. Then I'm going to give an upward tug with my right, and I'll hold that for a few breaths. And then a downward tug with my left. Trying to keep that elbow back. I should not be able to see it in my peripheral vision. And then I'll switch to take that stretch for the opposite side, reaching up high, grabbing my towel with my palm back so I look like this behind. I'm going to bring my hands pretty close together, tug upward with my left arm, and then downward with my right. Still breathing deeply. And I'll release that. And then I'm going to let this go. And open my legs into a straddle stance with my toes straight forward. My knees are straight-ish, which means they're not locked, but they're not truly bent. Take a big inhale and reach up. And exhale, hands down. Good. Let's add a swan dive to that. So we inhale to reach up. And exhale, swan diving down. And you can just hold it here if you'd like. Let your head hang, your shoulders relax. And inhale to reverse swan dive up. And exhale to bring it down. Let's inhale, reach over to the right. And exhale, bring it down. Try that to the left. And down. And one more time, reaching up. And finally, we'll align our heels under our hips and shoulders, toes and knees straight forward. Bend into your knees like a mini chair pose or a mini squat. Open your arms out to the side. And we'll inhale, open the body forward. Chest and belly press forward as the arms come back. Then exhale, rounding that spine, reaching forward. And again, inhale, chest forward. Exhale, round spine, belly back. Let's do two more. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, belly back. And again, inhale, chest forward. And exhale, belly back. Let's stand up straight and tall. Take a big cleansing breath. One more slow swan dive. Oh. Then inhale to reverse swan. Back up. And thank you for stretching with me. I hope it gets your day off to a good start. Take care.